All right, guys, so the most obvious question is, for all of the crazy videos that I've been making about my life, is why YumCars, and why do I think that I'm special enough where I need to film a video series about my life in chronological order, explaining every little bit of detail, and do I think I'm in that level of special? Absolutely not. However, I do believe that you guys um, are interested and will want to learn about us, and people need to see who the people are at the heart of the operation. So the question we always get is, why YumCars? That's a bit of a strange name. So as you know, within the industry there is a select few or handful of words, adjective words, whether it be clean, pristine, auto, something, and they use these words in conjunction with other words. And this is why, I could call myself Nick's Car Care, Nick's Polishes, whatever. And we thought, no, we're going to be different. So at the very inception of the brand, being different and keeping to our core values even started there. So with the Yum part of the word, we actually got known more for our number plate and the cars that we drove than we did as in, oh, look, there's that guy Nick, there's that 8-foot tall giant. It was that guy, oh, he's got RS3 Yum, V8 Yum, whatever it is. So we actually started getting known for, these guys have got the cleanest car to show. Oh, it's the Yum guys, boom, boom, So the Yum kind of became synonymous with our face. So that was fairly obvious that we wanted to kind of implement that Yum word within kind of the branding. And the cars part is, if you were to look at the automotive industry, if that picture ever existed, and you could see all the different branches, where it would be performance, cleaning, accessories, aftermarket modifications, and a million other things, the automotive industry is huge. So we thought, obviously the cars part, people know what we deal with. So YumCars will eventually, when the time is right and when the progression is ready to take the next step, when we do branch off into maybe certain other things, the YumCars is still the headline kind of name that will be hopefully branched off into different things. So YumCars is the reason why we chose it. It's different. People actually don't, like, if you don't know what we do, a lot of people say, oh, are you doing this, or are you this, or do you provide this service? So actually nobody ever gets what we do right the first time, which is actually quite interesting, because people want to delve deeper within your history. So from the very beginning, me and Kelly, we had a very simple objective. We wanted to provide the most complete, again, if that picture exists and you could see it, what all these things mean, but we wanted to provide the most complete picture within car care. So I've always said this, I would love one day in my life where somebody can come in and there's no gimmicks, there's no frills, there's all the right things and all the wrong things are out the picture. They can come into one place, whether it be physical or virtual, i.e. the website, and they can pick everything blindfolded, and they know that it's literally going to do what it says on the bottle or on the bag or whatever it may be. It's safe, it's exciting to use, the performance is at the very top level. So those things, when you start putting all the different variables in, the more variables you put in, the harder that vision becomes, because there's more points of weakness that you have to iron out. So from the very start, when we launched our very first product, a lot of people will actually make products up to a price point. Well, I have got to be competitive with this brand, or I think this brand's doing very well, so I want to try and compete with them. We actually don't look at any brand for any competitiveness. We have of course checked and tested every single product on the market 52 times. Want to make sure it's either good, bad, or average. But we will never compete, whether it be on namings, colors, price points. In fact, one of our products, we were the first people with that specific style product, with that specific style of color as well. A lot of people say, well, actually, this type of product is usually this color, but you guys have gone completely against the grain. And now people have actually started following suit within that. So we kind of, in that product sense, we've set the trend, let's say. But in terms of pricing, we said, no, let's prove everybody right every single time with the product. And we will put in the highest level of raw materials. We will put in, depending of course on the product, because there's cleaners, protectants, etc. But in terms of, let's say, a protectant, we will make it the slickest possible, the most durable / the most easy to use product. Now that's a whole different conversation to have. And if you don't know, I will tell you right now that when you get into the wholesale market of raw materials, I'm not talking about the products here, but there are products out there that you can get for £1 a kilo, £500 a kilo, and £5,000 to £10,000 a kilo for a single raw material. And of course, products have 18, 58 different raw materials. So we always go for the most expensive, the most premium raw materials. Now, there are many factors. Again, I can't describe to you why we do it in a shampoo versus a detail spray versus a wax, because they all behave differently. However, I would like to believe that now that the product line is starting to circulate, I can't believe I'm saying it, but around the world, and people can actually see the difference, whether it's a slickness factor, a cleaning factor, a darkening effect on the paint factor, whichever factor you are kind of looking at, product specific. I am hopeful that you can see that there is a difference, and there is a different level within car care. Now, with people, they normally look at a high ticket item, let's say £1,000, and they all think that said product, the cost value of that product is £1. So you've just made yourself the world's best margin in the world, £999. Unfortunately, that's not the case. So our margins, down to our fault, but that is what we kind of, again, wanted to do right from the start. Our margins are very small. So people seem to think that you make a 982% margin, but that's not the case, because as I've said, in the liquid sense, raw materials are an absolutely astronomical level of money. Now, again, we can go and make flavored water all day long. That is not a problem. That is cheap. It's easy. There's no stress, but I will never be able to sleep properly at night. So, of course, that was never the vision. Now, when it comes to the things that we can not possibly make, we are not a microfiber manufacturer. We're not a plastics manufacturer. So, and I don't want to get into that world, because, you need to start investing hundreds of millions of pounds. But let's say in terms of microfiber, we have gone to every factory in the world, and we have gone to all locations in the world. And when we have found our factory to what we believe is the best, we then approach them and say, by the way, we do think you're very great, but we don't want any of your standard towels. We want our custom-made towels. We want, for this kind of specification, we want this blend. For that blend. And I want you to make it in a certain, shaved style, a certain fiber design, split weave, twist loop, whatever it may be. And we build the blueprint through the microfiber. We build the blueprint through the pressure washing sense. And this is why we deal with a select few factories around the world. For example, Mosmatic, Swiss, fantastic, very expensive. And I remember having a phone call with the main European export manager, and I said, look, you've got to help me here, because I want to obviously help you guys. I'm not talking for margin for myself. Maybe we can lower the price, give you guys, potentially a better entry point. We can give our distributors slightly, more percentage, so they can go and feed their families better. And the answer I got was, okay, Nick, if you want to spend an extra £20,000, we can give you 2.5% margin. Now, you come to a very serious problem at this point, where imagine £20,000 on, let's say, a fitting of some description from Mosmatic. You're only gaining 2.5%. So you're not actually benefiting anybody else. You're not benefiting you, you're not benefiting the distributor, you're not benefiting us. You've lost all your cash flow, potentially, for something that will actually not help anybody. So this example multiplies to everything. If buying power is great, but buying power is not everything. I thought buying power may have been there, and we have, of course, got to, in some ways, to that level with certain things. But when you look at it, it's not as big as people seem to think. And the main constant that remains is quality. If you want, let's say, brass, you're cheap, Far Eastern manufactured out of a sausage factory that is going to anodize and kind of corrode within the first 2 uses with water, great. There are companies out there for that. There's 50 million of them. But from us, you will never see that. Same thing with towels. Melted on the first wash or become super rough on the wash. Another 50,000 companies available. But we do not want to delve into that world. Cheap and cheerful, as I call it. So everything for us is either custom made, custom sourced, only available through us. We have gone through all of that kind of pain. And I think we still have a lot more pain to go before we actually level out as a business, because we don't simply choose from a catalog. Sometimes I think, maybe have we made a mistake? It's so easy to have a cup of coffee, you sit like this and be like, well, I want 5 of them, 60 of them. It'd be very simple. But everything we work with manufacturers to make everything to the nth degree, the best that it possibly can. And of course, there will be version 2s and version 3s, because technology is always moving, and we're obviously ahead of that curve, and we want to keep ahead of the curve and continuing to develop the very best that is possibly in existence. And as I said, my entire goal, if I could summarize about what we are, where the brand I want to go, is my ultimate dream is for somebody to come in to your virtual shop. He has never ever washed his car in his life, and whatever he buys, it will be the very best. Whether it be hardware, liquidware, towelware, it doesn't really matter. He can confidently click without looking at the screen, and what arrives to the door in the way that it arrives, and the courier companies that we use, the whole image and the whole thought process has been battled with us for so many times and reinvented, that now I think we've got a very good kind of streamlined service, where when you do receive it and you pull the trigger on whatever Descript product, that you'll have the biggest smile on your face. And I think that sentence there that I've just said is probably the vision that I've got. Will I truly get to perfection is the key word, and I can probably say now, absolutely not. Perfection is an indefined goal and an indefined number of iterations to get you as close to perfection. And I will probably be, you will see me, I will be 75-year-old, hopefully at that point in our YumCars destination on our own private land. I will still be messing with product. I will still give you the final wipe towel version 74, because we're always evolving. And yeah, that's the story of YumCars. You've heard the vision. There's a lot of work to do, and the main thing is the work can never be done without your guys' support. When you guys buy, that money is then reinvested directly back into this building, and we chase the version 2s, we chase the new product, we chase, how can you make this 1.35% better? And every time you multiply that by the customers, every single penny is reinvested back into your experience. And that's the dream, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the series. I've got a few goosebumps talking about this, because I can visualize what is going to happen. But between now and that point is time. It's many, many years of hard work, but I've got goosebumps talking about it. But honestly, I thank you for supporting the series through. We've had some very interesting questions. I hope I've given you an insight into the life of how we do things and why we do things, and why, you know, we're just an honest company wanting to provide the best. It's not too much to ask for, you know. We do our own thing, we do it in our own way, but hopefully the amount of smiles that we make in professional detailing centers, on your own driveway, wherever you may be doing what you're doing, I hope the smile comes because of us. So thank you very much, and as always, I will see you all very soon on the very next episode. Thank you.